appreciate
I have
it.
a question. Would David play a song off of his album that he's
He
playing?
just did 3 of them.
Well, I want him to do another one.
No. I'm trying to protect you. You really want to do one?
Please.
I think it's a question. I mean, I'll play all night long. If you want to ask questions.
We're here all night if you
Hang on
want.
a minute. So, what about that one that goes?
Buy the CD.
What is that one?
Have to go.
Did you hear what he skimming the surface, because that's kind of what it feels like I'm doing. Like skipping rocks, you know?
Thank you.
What are you keeping your tone knobs on? All the way up.
You know what's interesting? If you take the tone circuit out, the guitar gets too bright. You have to leave it in all the way up, otherwise it has a way of softening things a little bit. And I used to take them out, and even if you take it, you don't put the hole in there, you've got to put that circuit in there as if the knob is all the way up, otherwise it just got too much of a high-end bite to it. So, yeah.
Dave, like when Joe Ely calls you for a gig or show, how much work should I get to go back to like remember the songs? Do you have cheat sheets on the stage, or do you just remember it all?
Yeah, I mememorized everything back then. I mean, I pretty much try to memorize everything, although I do have so many gigs that I get called for at last minute stuff where like 2 weeks ago I did one show with Charlie and Bruce Robinson and Jack Ingram, and they gave me like 29 songs. And then I had to play the next night with a guy that just put out a new record and he wanted to do the whole new record. So that was like 10 new songs. And then the day after that, I had the first rehearsal for an Austin City Limits Hall of Fame taping where I was playing with Bonnie Raitt, Taj Mahal, Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, and Rodney Crowell, and all these people. And I had to learn all those songs. So I wrote charts for every song. And I read charts on every song. But I put them on a music stand, or I put them in an iPad. The thing about the ACL thing was, though, that those artists couldn't make up their mind about the arrangement, so I didn't, it was like scratch, scratch, scratch. No, let's do it. No. And they're changing keys and everything, and the capo's here. By the time we did the run through, my brain was scrambled eggs.
That
But
wasn't Bonnie, was it?
I don't know. I'm not naming names. It's just, when people are doing duets, they have to, when it's in a male-female vocal, they change keys and they change arrangements and they do all this and everything. So,
I just think that
yeah, she's awesome. Definitely.
Paul, what are you most excited about that you're working on right now? Future, basically.
you really had to ask that.
If he told you, he'd have to kill you.
I don't make a big deal out of it, but Steve Vai decided to release a record that the Granger brothers and I did together, and Hendrix Foundation allowed us to record 2 Hendrix tunes and the videos, Freedom and Machine Gun, and they're all on there, and he's really excited about it, and it's going to come out in the springtime, and we'll just be real quiet about it To have his endorsement's been wonderful. Playing in the Granger Brothers band has been, we get excited every time we play because their leader is so good. It's like a sledgehammer going off on the stage. We start laughing because we know something's going to happen. So I enjoy that. Mostly, it's not been excitement recently. Mostly, it's just been hard work to try and get these clinics together, to get the new products online, to do whatever it is we need to survive. It's been much more, this industry has really taken a turn, and people think that 57 Strat is a reissue. They don't think it's a real one anymore. They think if 50 Les Paul's a reissue, they don't think it's a real one anymore. And they don't think of, you know, a lot of guitars are what the original ones were. And so for us to fight back and fight back and fight back with the guitars that we make, that we're trying to make these gorgeous tools for creating music on, has been difficult. So it's been more of a get up every morning and be like a prize fighter, keep swinging, than it has been about the music. But I'm sorry, there's a guitar player named Randy Boland who was the Sigma Sound, one of the Sigma Sound guitar players at 16 years old that comes and plays with us. And when he comes and plays in the studio, there's literally a crowd to watch him play. He's got more rhythm in his body than almost anybody I've ever seen. And he circled the band for 3 years trying to get in the band, and we finally let him come in and play, and he just kind of pushed everybody aside and said, well, I'm here. I mean, that's been a joy to be around Randy. He does what you do. He's a musical director for these R&B and hip-hop bands. So it's a different genre, but the same band.
No, that's my new thing. I'm R&B and hip hop. Everything else is dead. I put an ad in the Musicians Union national thing, and next thing you know, Jed's a millionaire.
I guess it's kind of going to that future thing. Like you guys always seem to change some things up as things evolve. And obviously, the people you're working with, their playing styles change, music change. What do you see down the road for yourself for that evolution?
Okay, so in my opinion, it's what happens is the same thing over and over and over again. So you have at one point in the you needed 32 people to be in a band, and Elvis said, no, maybe you need 3. And then the bands get too big, and then Nirvana comes in and says, maybe you only need 3. Right? And then Jack White comes in and says, maybe you only need 2. And then the bands get too big, and it happens over and over. The music gets complicated, and then it gets so simple, and complicated and simple, and complicated and simple. And I think that there's a lot of young guitar players that are doing extraordinary work these days. There's a lot more female guitar players. I mean, God bless it with Prince's passing, but that was Donna Grattis, and you've got Rhonda Smith, one of the best bass players in the world. And Jeff Beck's band is female. There's a lot of really good female, Jennifer Batten and Piles, really good players on the female side. So it used to be an all male thing, but it's not anymore. And Mark's whole thing with this new kind of what do you guys call the stuff you play?
Avant-garde.
Metalcore? Rhythmic playfulness.
Rhythmic playfulness, yeah. Some sort of higher. What's it called? What is Animals as Leaders called? What do you guys call it?
It's progressive. It's progressive metal.
Progressive
That's a
metal.
very umbrella way to describe it.
Well, Opeth is in that. Would you call Opeth in that same
Oh,
genre?
yeah.
Okay, so you've got all that stuff going on, and there's a whole new range of R&B players that are coming up. There's a huge thing where American Idol came along and said, maybe you need to just sing a tune. Whereas they were tuning all the vocals, and there was some horrific moments on the Grammys where people were singing half-step flat, and that became unacceptable. There's a lot of things going on. I don't try to control any of it. I try and follow it and be a part of it and not fight it. I always get excited when I see wonderful musicians play, whether it be David play or watching Eric Johnson do it all Hendrix said at the Vintage Guitar Show. You watch that video on YouTube, where you can see it on YouTube, the 2 people screaming off stage that you can't hear are me and Andy Timmons. We're screaming. Because we didn't get to see Hendrix. But Whipper did a good job that night. And your bass player was playing bass that night. and Dave and Eric was just on playing Hendrix tunes, and they sounded more like jazz tunes than they sounded like rock tunes. And I realized there was a real jazz element in some of his writing, right?
Well, Mitch is making
Elvin Jones, right. So there's all that going on. I like good music, always have liked good music. So I'm just trying to follow it the way it is. John Mayer was talking about all the people that are learning how to play like him, but they're not learning how to play like he learned how to play. So there's this piece missing, this background piece. You got to play with Muddy Waters at some point, right?
No, I did not play with Muddy Waters. I played with a bunch of other folks.
No, I'm talking, you did several records with a guy from Chicago. And
You mean the guy named Buddy Guy?
Yeah.
I did the very last one, but I did the 3 before that, and one a long time ago, so it's 4.
I mean, what a lesson that must have been for David to be in there with him, right? So all that stuff is learning, and I'm a learn freak. I like learning new things all the time. We're talking about new things we've learned every day in the car, talking about things we want to do with this guitar. We're going to actually buy this guitar and take it back and experiment on it and play with some things. And so to me, that's the love of being in this industry. It's never a lack of stuff to go after. Never. It's sad that they're not selling CDs anymore. It's sad that,
It's very sad.
record companies aren't doing what they're doing. But that said, you got to hear some magic in the room, and you should give David and Mark and